Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Good morning. Back at the job site. This is the final day. Super loud scream, but in a quiet voice. Very excited about today. Today I'm going to be doing the final wrap up of the mural. Typically it doesn't take me 4 days, but I'm trying something a little bit new this time. First day I had to paint, the 3 colors, and then I allowed it to dry instead of really rushing it. And it worked out a lot better. So come along the journey with me as we wrap up the final day of the mural commission for Florida Hospital. Okay, you guys, so basically what I've been doing for the past, 45 minutes to an hour. I've been here about an hour. I've been starting the inking process. I'm gonna go ahead and start the time lapse here in just a few seconds so you can see the lines being put into the characters. I had to put in the majority of the eye color, and you have to do it really slowly just because of the small detail on the brushes and stuff, and you can't put a lot of paint in. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the time lapse up, and you guys can watch the inking process. Enjoy. Okay, so right now I'm on a little bit of a lunch break. A little bit early, it's about 11 a.m. I usually don't like to take lunch this early. However, just due to construction and the time constraint that's involved in doing projects for larger corporations like this, you have a limited amount of time that you can do things. Now I have a lot of freedom just because I facilitate pretty much any request that comes along. You don't want to be a resistance whenever you're in the construction strain. You want to be a positive influence. So some of the tile installers have to go into the room and install the tiles, and I don't want to be in there whenever they're in there because they're messy, and it's just to the point where I don't want stuff dropped on me and stuff. So it makes a lot of sense for me to go and have lunch right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of drive around DeLand and let you guys look at a couple little iconic things here in the town, just to kind of give you a perspective. Those of you who are overseas or up in Canada, I see some of the analytics, and some of my viewership is up in the nether regions of the Americas. So you guys can kind of see exactly what DeLand, Florida is about. So like I said, DeLand's an older city. It's got a lot of old Florida charm to it. Old Florida charm meaning the roads are, especially in the city, are all 90-degree turns. You don't have a lot of swooping roads. The speed limit's probably 25 to 30 miles an hour. The buildings, a lot of the buildings were built in the 20s, even before that. So some of the architecture is older. It's kind of cool. I'll show you the school area here in just a second. It's really cool. It's got like I said, a really cool charm to it. Here's the Stetson University ballpark. It's an interesting area. Some of the areas here are pretty cool. The greenery and stuff is really nice. I'm trying to get you guys my perspective here. You're not allowed to text and drive in Florida. I don't know about videotaping and driving, so hopefully this won't cause any issues. Coming into the downtown area. Downtown is kind of like Main Street, USA. If anybody's ever been to Disney World, you'll kind of recognize the main thoroughfare here is riddled with, very cool little shops here and there, and this is kind of the central part of DeLand. Whenever you think of DeLand, this is what I think of. A lot of the shops, and I'm sure some of the architecture was built, 20s and 30s and even earlier than that. So, but pretty cool. You do have some cool murals. That's a cool mural. I remember back in high school, I got my senior pictures done here. And And I was always enamored with the cool architecture that's here in downtown. Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Right there reminds me of New Orleans. The DeLand Opera House. Wonder how much opera is sung there. There's a movie theater close by too. Remember, my wife did a 5K from there. I don't know where it's at. Wow, look at that old building. Dick and Jane's. Cool. Getting into the education sector, as I like to call it, because it's Stetson University. Stetson, like I had indicated before, is an expensive school. They've got a law school. They've got a great music school. When I was in college, going to... Oh, he's going the other way. Here it is. This is the Florida Heritage Trail. The Leon Springs is about 7 miles away. It's a great spring. We've got natural springs here in Florida. Look at the beautiful campus that is here in DeLand. Look at the trees, the old growth trees, and the canopy that is created. And even some of the houses. You know, I don't know if that's the president of Stetson University, if he lives there or not, probably. But like this building right here, I'm not sure if this is Elizabeth Hall or not. Elizabeth Hall, well, actually, I think Elizabeth Hall is down there. It's a very beautiful, place. Actually, no, Elizabeth Hall is right here. It houses some of the students as well as one of the music halls that I sang in. That was pretty cool. You can definitely see where a lot of the money goes, not only for the educators, but also the facilities. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful campus. You know, and the buildings are old. You know, old wood and old stucco, and with a modern charm. You know. Here's a museum, the art museum, which is pretty cool. I keep saying pretty cool, don't I? I'm a Florida guy, so I don't know what other adjectives I can use to describe stuff. It is fantastically, wonderfully awesome. Is that better? Anyway, so this is Stetson University. This is the town. You know, it is a college town. It's a really cool place. Go there for church. Now we're getting to sort of the support structure of the city, which is what you guys have seen everywhere. I mean, you've got your fast food, you've got your, you know, your support structure buildings. I'm not going to go into that. I just wanted to show you stuff. They've got a Porky's Barbecue over there. Killer ribs. Looks like an old 7-Eleven to me. A lot of reconstituted. Is that the proper terminology? Reapportioned. I don't know. Repurposed. There we go. I'm an idiot today. Repurposed buildings here in Florida. You'll see buildings that used to be Pizza Huts that are now, you know, law offices and whatnot. So maybe I'll go to. There's the sign entering Stetson University, the main entryway. Just a beautiful campus. You know, I had the opportunity to come here back whenever I was thinking about being a professional performer singing, and this was the school that I was going to go to. Alas, I went the visual route instead of the auditory route, which is still fine, still nice. You know what, I gotta think, what would my life have been if I had kind of been in the, you know, in that singing career? What, you know, at the end of the day, if you don't sing, you know, sing songs on the radio and stuff, you end up being either a teacher or, you know, a music teacher or something like that, or, you know, there's always singing jingles and writing jingles and doing voiceover work. And voiceover work is something that I've always been interested in. And who knows? You never know. Oh, there's a firehouse right there. Firehouse Subs. Okay, I'm having Firehouse. Take a minute. I'm walking to Firehouse Subs for lunch here, and I had to stop for a minute because this beautiful mural on the back side of this building. Look at how incredible this is. Looks like some kind of a Florida heritage mural that has black bears, and it's kind of in a swamp area. It is absolutely phenomenal. I don't like the surface that it's painted on. It really doesn't add to it, and it's very difficult to paint on stuff like that, but my goodness, look at the details. Look at the, I mean, if you stand back, unfortunately there's white cars in there. Look at how beautiful this is. And it's hidden. You know, it's kind of right next to the public parking. I mean, I would love to do that right there, do that whole side. But this is beautiful, beautiful. It's really cool too. There's another mural over there. It's amazing whenever you actually get out of your car and you start looking around, you can really see some great artwork posted around town. Beautiful. Dudes, this firehouse is epic. It's the biggest one I've ever seen. It's got an outside seating area. It's got like 30 seating areas for human beings. Really pays to be a college town. So I decided on a day like this that I needed to sit outside and enjoy the beautiful Florida weather, something that everybody takes for granted sometimes, but this beautiful, beautiful college town, it is very nice to just sit out and enjoy. So for those people that are sitting in offices right now watching my video, you know, you're in your studio. This is kind of my studio right here. This is where I want to be. I want to be outside enjoying the beautiful weather, outside enjoying the festivities, looking at the world of Florida. I'm just enjoying myself, you know. That's what I want to do. That's my end game. Not retirement, just being able to go out on the beach and enjoy and see the things. So for those of you who are interested, which I'm sure you are, what the price of a mural is and what it costs to hire somebody like me to come out and do a mural at your facility. I charge by the square foot. You know, a while back, I charged very little, and the amount of effort that I put forth was astronomical. So I decided to do some research, and lo and behold, I got a great website reference. I'm sure if I look for it, I can find it. Just look up mural pricing. The prices range from $20 a square foot all the way up to $100 a square foot. And whether or not you're going to get $100 a square foot is, you know, questionable. However, I'm not going to divulge the exact amount I paid, or I'm getting paid, because that's bad form. You know, do your research online and kind of find exactly what fits for you, because there's different tiers. Obviously, if you're fast, if you're good, if you're, you know, you have the capability to do large format, if you do, you know, spot illustrations, if you do characters, if you do realistic work, all these things factor in. So, but $20 a square foot I think is minimum. I mean, bare minimum. You know, I'm not sure how much painters charge per square foot, but $20 for any type of mural, any type, no matter what it is. If it's just painting a tree on the wall, you know, you definitely want to get paid what you should. Okay guys, so obviously I'm back here doing the mural after lunch. I went ahead and did a time lapse for you guys of some of the inking process. I wanted to show you to simulate texture, especially in this type of environment, this type of style. I've kind of developed a methodology to make things look not only kind of realistic in a real environment, but also make it look friendly and cutesy. I'll let you see.
Obviously, whenever I do wood, I want to make it look as real as I can in the context of the piece that I'm doing. Now, obviously, I tried to make the water look, as real as I could, but not too real. You don't want to go overboard whenever it comes to rendering. So, that being said, I like using black line because it covers up the Prism pencil really well, but also, you still see some of the Prisma there, and I'm going to kind of use that as a guide whenever I start putting my highlights in here in just a second. In the water, you can see some of the areas where I've kind of done a cartoony swirl. I've kind of merged two stylistic environments, motifs, and always having that knowledge that this piece is going to be for kids. You don't want to have any kind of adult situation or kind of make things mean or make things rough, and that's what you kind of have to deal with and think about whenever you do these types of projects for larger corporations. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you guys kind of the process of doing the highlights on the... Again, I'm using the Sharpie line of paint markers. I know there's different types of paint markers, and I've utilized quite a few of them. There's a couple of them that are really good, but a lot of them have a real translucency to them, and I'm looking for opaque. This is really good. It is water-based, but once it dries, it is pretty much indestructible. And, like I said before, Sharpie, although, we've associated with standard markers and permanent markers, they make a great line of artistic markers as well. These things range from $8.99 to $9.99 a piece, so budget accordingly as much as you can, and see and just know from somebody who's done these kind of things for years is the fact that that particular brand of marker works. It works consistently. The return that you get is much higher than the expenditure. One marker, I can basically get the entire half of the mural done. I mean, it typically takes me 2 markers to do it, but I mean, for 10 bucks, I mean, the black oil base are about $6 or $7 a piece, and of course, you're always looking for deals. But anyway, that's where we are. So I've only got about 33% left on my phone right now, and I didn't bring my cord. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and save the time-lapse video for the airbrushing stage, and hopefully it won't annihilate my phone to the point where I can't even use it whenever I go home. So so what you saw, basically the inking is kind of where I'm going to leave that particular stage off at. You get a roundabout idea exactly how it's done. So the next stage is airbrush. Very cool. So the inking is finally done. The next stage for the next, could be 2 hours, could be 2.5 hours, could be 3 hours, just depends on how much I want to put into it, is the airbrush stage. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the wall pre-airbrush stage, and then we're going to do a time lapse of the airbrushing going on, as long as my phone lasts, at least down to whatever percentage points, 10-15%, and then I'll do a wrap up. Anyway, so hold your horses. So here we are, pre-airbrush stage. You see I've put all my black lines in. I've got a variation of line weights to help define form. I've established the character base pretty well. I've got my lighting effects going on, and I'm anxious to get into the airbrush stage. So I'm going to show you a couple of tools that I use. For airbrushing, you have to have an air source. There's myriad of different air sources, but for my money, this Porter cable cost me $110. This Porter cable air compressor is really good because it goes up to 200 psi. It says 150 psi. Anyway, 6 gallon. It's really good for a single airbrush. I've got 2 ports. I can adjust. It's got a regulator on it. The only thing it doesn't have is a water trap, and I highly recommend. That's what this is. This is a water trap. This particular water trap is old. It probably needs to be replaced, but it's an industrial strength, and I've got a loop on it right here, to where I can just hook it on my belt loop. And here's the outlet port for my airbrush, right here. And it's got quick disconnect with a with a open and close knob on there. What I use for tools, I have quite a few airbrushes, but my primary airbrushes are these Pache Talon airbrushes. I found these about 5 years ago, and they're great. Cost about 75 bucks. I think retail on them was like 140, 150, but I got them off Pache. They're on sale. I had a coupon. I think I got like 3 or 4 of them. 3 of them, to be honest with you. Pache's great. They've been around a very long time. I used their VL series for years and years. It's kind of the workhorse of the line. What's great about the about the Talon is it has tungsten needles. Tungsten is extremely hard and extremely durable. It's got a quick feature right here where you can clean your needle, and it's gravity feed. I love gravity feed because I can basically, I don't have to wash out a color cup. Now some people are going to say, why don't you just swap color cups? Well, you know, that's all well and dandy, but for me, just ease of use, because I go through the color and then once it runs out, I just move on to the next one. I do have these, which is kind of the lowest. It's like the new version of the VL one, and it's a siphon feed, siphon being suck up from a color cup. And whenever I do large areas such as black and stuff like that, I'll utilize this particular airbrush. I never really liked this particular airbrush. I've got 2 of them. I ordered them at the same time. And the reason why I don't like them is just right off the bat, the quality was nowhere near what I wanted it to be, and the detail work and stuff like that. And I think the maximum pressure you can put through these is like 60 pounds. That's another thing. It depends on the liquidity of the paint you're using combined with the color. You know, transparent paint, you only need about 45 to 55 psi. Whenever you get up into white, if you're using the detailed white, I go up above 75 psi. And I've even heard some people use 100 psi for top white. The only problem with that is the amount of air coming out here. A lot of time it dries the paint instantly, so it goes right on the surface and it really doesn't adhere to it that well. So these are all things that you would have to learn as an individual that is interested in airbrushing. I don't recommend you just diving into airbrushing. Do your research first. Find out what exactly is involved with airbrushing. It involves a very intense amount of practice, just because of the way this is involved. The way this is designed. You have to push down for the air and then pull back for the paint. It's kind of a feeling that you develop over years and years of using these tools. And I've used them, gosh, since 1995, 96, just on and off. I've done a myriad of projects. The paint that I use is made by a specific company called Cretex. Cretex is great because they have a ton of different colors. They're really durable. They're water based. They have fluorescence. They've got opaques. They've got your translucent paint. And then I found these right here, Wicked Colors. I found these at Hobby Lobby, and these are also by Cretex. And these are specific. Like this is Detail Black. And Detail Black, I believe, doesn't have as much thinner in it, so it goes on a little bit thicker, so I have to thin a little bit with water whenever I use it, or else it'll gum up my brush. That's another thing, you know, just through airbrushing my entire, you know, since I was a teenager, what I've developed is a feeling about what each particular paint, you know, brand, because I've used testers, I've used I've used a myriad of paint. Just put it this way, I've used a lot of paint. So that being said, I kind of know what works. I know the consistency. I did buy a really cool brush recently called the Iwata Neo. I did have an Iwata HPC for a while. You paid $200 for it, and frankly, it was a good brush, and I kind of regret getting rid of it. And I just didn't have quite the amount of money I wanted to buy another HPC, because the HPC is fantastic. It doesn't gum up, and just overall, it's a good brush. I did buy this right here, the Iwata Neo. Whenever I tried to use it recently, it didn't work. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe it's just me, but I think what I'm gonna do, last time I used the Neo just for white, and you know, that's one of the things you have to consider, is maybe utilizing one brush for white, one brush for black, and your colors, because you don't really want to intermix
color. Once you do white, you want a pure white. You don't want to go in and be spraying and then suddenly have a glob of green come out onto your white highlight. It really sucks when that happens. So anyway, enjoy the process. Hopefully my phone will last. But you know, you're going to see the mural transform from what you see behind me, which is kind of a flat color blocked in, although fun. Now, you know, some people would say, oh, just walk away from it, it's great. No, I want to take this mural to the next level. I want it to look incredible. I want whenever somebody comes to it to say, oh my gosh. You know, it is a reflection upon me as an artist, is a reflection upon Florida Hospital that hired me to do this. I want to give them 110, 120% and have them look at this and go, wow, what an incredible mural. You know, that's why they call me, because I want to step it up to that next level. I want them to have the peace of mind and knowing that whenever I arrive, I'm going to give them everything I got for the kids, for the parents that come into this room, because a lot of times this is the first exposure. This area, this room is the first exposure for these children, and you want them to have the best foot forward. So anyway, enjoy the ride. Okay guys, here's the finished mural. I finished the airbrush work, finished all the line work, and I have pretty much wrapped everything up. Hope you guys have learned something. I know I've had a great time videotaping and doing the videos for you guys. So take a look and go out and do something. And we'll see you next time. Thanks guys. Bye.